here with another Mini Masters art studio. Today we're going to be talking about Vasily Kandinsky, who was an abstract artist in the 19th century. Are you ready to learn about Kandinsky? Let's do it. Vasily Kandinsky, the colors and sounds of abstract art. Vasily Kandinsky was born in Moscow, Russia on December 4th, 1866. His father was a wealthy tea merchant, and his mother was a noblewoman with a passion for music. Vasily traveled with his family often to Italy and then to Odessa, Russia, on the shores of the Black Sea for his father's health. When he was 5, his parents divorced, and Vasily lived with his Aunt Elizabeth while finishing school. He attended law school in Moscow and then taught law and economics as an adult. But Vasily always loved to paint. In his writings, Kandinsky described hearing a hissing sound as a child when he first mixed colors in the paint box his aunt gave him. He continued experiencing colors as sounds and sounds as colors throughout his life. It's thought that Kandinsky probably had a harmless genetic condition called synesthesia. In people with synesthesia, one sense triggers a different sense, allowing them, for example, to hear colors, see music, taste words, or smell numbers. At first, Kandinsky painted in a realistic style. But as an adult, he attended an exhibition of Claude Monet's Haystacks. The painting stunned him. It was the first time he saw art that was not realistic, and he never forgot the experience. Later, at a performance of Richard Wagner's opera Lohengrin, he saw wild shapes and colors in his mind as the music played. At 30, Kandinsky established himself as an artist in Germany. He was a founder of an influential art group called the Blue Rider, and he later taught at the world-renowned Bauhaus School. In 1910, he painted his first completely abstract painting, which sparked a revolution in the art world. After a long, successful life as a painter, Vasily Kandinsky died on December 13, 1944, in France. His works hang in art museums all over the world, and maybe someday you can go and hear them just like Kandinsky did. Today's story is called The Noisy Paint Box: The Colors and Sounds of Kandinsky's Abstract Art by Barb Rosenstock and Mary Gronfrey. Here's his noisy paint box. Vasily Kandinsky spent his days learning to be a proper Russian boy. He studied bookfuls of math, science, and history. He practiced piano scales to the marching click of the metronome. He sat stiff and straight at dressed-up dinners while the grown-ups talked and talked and talked. Vasya's well-off world was perfectly polite, until the day his aunt gave him a small wooden box of paint. "Every proper Russian boy should appreciate art," said Auntie. She showed Vasya the correct way to mix colors on a paint box palette. "What is that sound?" asked Vasya. "I don't hear a thing," said Auntie. Vasya listened as his brush stirred and swished. The swirling colors trilled like an orchestra tuning up for a magical symphony. "Mama, Papa," he called. "What a noisy paint box!" "Silly Vasya," said Papa. Vasya painted the sound of the colors. He spun a bright lemon circle onto the canvas. It clinked like the highest notes on the keyboard. He brushed a powerful navy rectangle that vibrated deeply like the lowest cello strings. He tossed up jagged swashes of blaring crimson and added cheerful dots of burbling green, clanging orange, and tinkling violet. Vasya painted and painted until the colors went quiet. "Look what I made!" he shouted. "Is it a house?" asked Auntie. "Is it a flower?" asked Mama. "What's it supposed to be?" asked Papa. "It's music," said Vasya, waltzing his painting around the house. "Calm down," said Mama. "Do some math," said Papa. "Heavens," said Auntie. "This boy needs a proper art class." So Vasya went to art class and learned to draw houses and flowers just like everyone else. As the years passed, Vasya finished school and studied to be a lawyer. He ignored his noisy paintbox and lived the way people expected. But Vasya couldn't ignore the sounds and colors singing to him in the streets. The canary-colored mailbox whistling as he rode to work, the scarlet sunset haze ringing above the ancient Kremlin walls, an ivory chorus of snowflakes scattered on the sable collar of his overcoat. One evening, suitably steamed and starched, Vasya attended the opera. As the orchestra's music crashed around him, the colors of the noisy paintbox twirled wildly in his mind. Stomping lines of vermilion and coral, caroling triangles in pistachio and garnet, thundering arcs of aqua and ebony, with shrill points of cobalt and saffron. Vasya heard the colors singing, and Vasya saw the music dancing. And Vasya was never quite the proper painter again. He quit his job teaching law and moved from Moscow to Munich to be a painter. He studied with this famous teacher, and then that one. Vasya wanted to paint the colors he heard, and maybe the famous teachers knew best. Once again, Vasya put houses and flowers, animals and people into his paintings, just like everyone expected. The teachers were happy, but Vasya was not. His artist friends understood. They were tired of painting pretty landscapes and pretty ladies. They thought art needed to change. "Art should make you feel," he told them, "like music." "Exactly," said his friends, but none of them knew how to paint feelings, until the day Vasya grew brave enough and invited the world to see his paintings roaring from his noisy paint box. "Rattle, bash, whistle, murmur, zip, clang," it shouted. Snapping cerulean points, crunching crimson squares, whispering coral lines. Vasya named these paintings after the music he loved. Improvisation, composition, accompaniment, fugue, movement, and simply 3 sounds. With his noisy paintbox, Vasily Kandinsky created something entirely new: abstract art. It took a long time for people to understand. Is it a house? Is it a flower? What's it supposed to be? "It's my art," Vasya answered. "How does it make you feel?" The end. Today we're going to be making some abstract art like Vasily Kandinsky. You're going to need a piece of paper, a paintbrush, some colors, some water, and an oil pastel crayon or a regular crayon. Now, Vasily Kandinsky could see music and hear colors because of his condition synesthesia. Now, we might not be able to hear the colors, but that doesn't mean that we can't make art based on our feelings. Kandinsky believed that every color had a voice, and so whatever he was feeling, he would paint using the colors that made him feel a certain way. So if he was happy, maybe he would use yellow. If he was sad, maybe he would use blue. And he loved to draw shapes. So today we're going to take our oil pastel, and we're going to take a walk with our crayon. And you can just make any sort of shapes that you're feeling today. We might make some triangles. And this crayon is going to serve as the outline for what we're drawing. So this is going to be our outline. And abstract art is all about the feeling. It doesn't have to be realistic. It can represent all different things. So even if you might not see something here, I'm thinking about mountains and sky and rivers, because I love water. And now we're going to paint it. If you have primary colors like red, yellow, and blue, you can mix up any color you want, but you'll need something to mix up. So I think I'm going to start with a little bit of blue. Once your painting's all dry, you can take your oil pastel and trace the shapes. Remember that line walk we took at the beginning? You might see some of those lines still underneath your paint, and you can outline those shapes that you painted. And it'll give your picture a little more depth, just like this. And once you're all done, you've created an abstract masterpiece. Great work, everybody. I can't wait to see the abstract art that you have created. Send me a picture and let me know how you were feeling when you created your masterpiece. Don't forget to sign up for our summer reading program with our Beanstack app or going to our website at www.danburylibrary.org. And I'll see you next time for our next Mini Masters.